Oh, it is exciting day. I'm on my way to a motorcycle distributor here in the Netherlands to pick up a motorcycle for the weekend, and I am super excited about this. So let's hop on the Thruxton and get down there. It's about a 40-minute drive, and get this bike picked up so that we can enjoy it for the weekend. That wasn't a bad ride. We made it. We're at Moto Mondo, who we've been here before. We've visited. We've done some events with them, and they're the importer and distributor for Benelux and France for Royal Enfield, along with multiple other brands and stuff like that. But they have asked me if I wanted to borrow a Royal Enfield for the weekend. So of course I'm not going to say no. So we're down here. We're going to go in and meet with the guys, chat a little bit, and then check out what bike we've got for the weekend. So let's get going. So I just picked up the bike. I'm just down the road. It's starting to drizzle, and I'm about 45 minutes away from home. So I'm going to jump on this bike, and I'm going to get home. I cannot wait to spend some time on this bike. My short little spurt with it just now was a lot of fun. I've had one of these bikes before. I had a 2014 535, and it was a fun bike, but it had some quirks. I'll talk about that more later, but in the meantime, I'm going to helmet up and get on the road before this rain gets really... Oh, look at that. Rain on the lens. So I'm hitting the road. Of course, just as I pick this up, the wind kicks up, and it's just like, I don't know. But here I am. I am trying to squeeze in a photo shoot between my morning run and lunch with some friends. It's busy, but I've got this Continental GT for the day. Actually, I've got it for the weekend, and I want to do it proper, and I need to do some photos for Saint. I'm a brand ambassador for Saint. We're also a retailer for Saint, and I need to make sure that I am fulfilling my end of the bargain on all these. So I've got about 45 minutes to knock out as many photos as I can. Hopefully I'll get out again later today to do some more photos. Train. Look, I'm an urban guy. I'm a city guy, so I try to find the city-looking spots, the little bit of an edge, a little bit of a grunge, a little bit of industrial. That's where I like to shoot. So we've got these underpasses here with all this great graffiti, and that's where I'm shooting today. So let me get to shooting. It has not been the most perfect day for motorcycle riding. See, it was supposed to rain, then it wasn't supposed to rain, then it was supposed to rain, and then it went back to not supposed to rain, and I just decided to jump on the bike and go out and get a ride. See, I have this bike for a very limited amount of time, and I wanted to get as many kilometers on it as I could so that I could properly review the bike. So sometimes you got to do what you got to do. I did some back roads, then I rode through the city. It did end up raining, and I am actually at Amsterdam Central Station right now. This was to give the bike a full test of what would it be like as your only bike. And I'm excited to continue to ride it, and I'm really excited to share with everybody how I feel about the bike. So right now, I am going to try to get back home. See, I live about 5 kilometers that way through the heart of the city, but I want to get home before the next rain comes. So I'm going to put this camera down. I'm going to hop back on the bike, put it through its city paces, and get home so that I can finalize my thoughts and share them all with you. So let's get to riding. So here's my review of the Continental GT 650. It's not a super in-depth review. It's not a super technical review. There are plenty of technical reviews out there with every number under the sun. If you want that, go search for that. You're not going to get that from here. I've had this bike for the weekend. I've put about 200 kilometers on it, which is not a lot. I would like to have put a lot more on it, but the weather wasn't cooperating. Life's been busy, but I did what I could, and I am extremely grateful for the limited time that I've had on this. Now, full transparency, this bike was loaned to me by Royal Enfield of Benelux. I do have and had a relationship with Royal Enfield in the past. In New York, I was a Royal Enfield ambassador. Royal Enfield gave me a motorcycle, gave my wife a motorcycle in turn for me supplying a certain amount of content. That was many years ago. That was the old model of this. It does not impact my ability to tell you how I feel about this bike. It's just something that I really want to call out because I want to be transparent about that. So the way that I reviewed and rode this bike in the short time that I've had it was just how I would ride and use my bike on a regular basis. I commuted to and from work with it. I did a weekend ride where I went out and hit some back roads with it. I ran some errands on it. I rode through the city. I rode through the countryside. I did some highway with it and everything like that. So I basically just treated this bike as if it was my own for the last few days. And my initial thoughts on this bike are, wow, they have really stepped up their game with this bike. See, I had a 2014, and then my wife had a 2017, and the amount of fine-tuning and refinement that just happened in those 3 years was amazing. Now this 650, holy shit, it is a whole different bike, and I have thoroughly enjoyed it. So let me dive into some of the things that I liked about it and some of the stuff that I know about it. Okay, so just some minor specs so you get a understanding of it. It is, I had to take notes, 47 horsepower at 7,200 RPM, 52 Newton meters of torque at 5,200 RPM. It's 202 kilograms dry, and it's got an 80 centimeter seat height, or that's like 31.5-inch seat height. And I tell you why I share those specs with it. Because I live in a city, and I'm looking for bikes for mainly getting around the city and doing my commuting, but I still want a bike that's powerful enough to be able to get on the highway and have some fun and not feel underpowered. Now, I'm short. I've got like a 30-inch inseam on a good day with a tall pair of shoes. So this bike's seat height is a little higher than what I want, but I am still able to put my feet on the ground fairly securely. I'm not flat-footed, but I'm secure enough and comfortable enough on the bike with that seat height. Horsepower-wise, it has plenty of horsepower and plenty of torque to do anything that you need to do with it. No, you're not going to go out there and set any speed records. No, you're not going to be doing any roll racing on the highway, but it has plenty of power to get on the highway on-ramps, get up to speed without even a worry. I was rolling down the highway at one point at like 110 kilometers an hour in 6th gear, cracked the throttle, and the bike moved. It took off and it went. I'm very comfortable with this bike on the highway. The old ones and some other bikes you feel a little bit underpowered. I like to have enough power in the tank that if I need to get out of trouble, I can crack the throttle and I can get out of trouble. Okay, so now ergonomics of it. This is a clip-on bike. Okay, it has clip-ons, but they are a raised clip-on. So what I really like about the clip-ons is it still has the control of a clip-on. You know that you're connected right to the bike with it. But the position isn't so aggressive that you're putting so much weight forward and on your wrists that you're just in pain. Mirrors, this bike has the Royal Enfield bar end mirrors. I really like them. They're really nice, they're really secure, they're really solid, they don't buzz and vibrate all over the place. I think they look 1,000 times better than the Mickey Mouse mirrors that are on so many other bikes. The grips, yeah, I'm not a huge fan of these grips. I think that if you just replace these with something that was a little thicker, maybe a little bit more padding, they might be a little bit more comfortable. But they are knurled really well, and you get good contact with them and all. I'm just not a huge fan of them. Seating position, it is more of a rear set. Your feet are a little bit behind you. Brake pedal is in a perfect location for me. Shift lever is a little bit high, but look, that can be adjusted down. No big deal on that at all. I'm comfortable on it. The factory seat is very comfortable. I rode multiple hours on it and never felt uncomfortable on the bike at all. I'd really have to put a long day in the saddle to give you proper feedback on it, but so far I'm really comfortable on the bike. I don't feel too stretched out, but I also don't feel too compact or anything. So overall, ergonomics and seating position is great. All the switches are right where you need them. The gauges are real easy to read. I kind of wish there was a clock on it. I know that's kind of nitpicking and all, I get that. But I do kind of wish there was a clock on it, but look, I can buy a clock and stick it on a triple. Handling. The handling on this bike is fine. I think the brakes are great for the weight of the bike, the weight of me, and the riding I was doing. I think everything was fine with that. It was compliant. It felt solid in the turns. I rode it in the rain. It felt fine. I have no complaints about the handling of it at all. It gave good feedback from the road. It turns in well. It handles the potholes and the uneven cobblestone terrain that we have around here just fine. So I have no complaints about that at all. Maybe slightly more adjustable shocks would be a good upgrade if you're looking to put some more weight on the back, or if you want to go do any track stuff. But right out of the gate from the factory, this bike is perfectly set up for 99.9% of riders, and I wouldn't change a thing on it. Okay, let's touch on a couple of things that I wasn't fond of. I spoke about the grips. I just think they could be better, but again, that's something you can upgrade yourself. Brake lever, the front brake lever, the reach of it is really far. I have medium-sized hands, and I found that it was a little bit uncomfortable. I could only grab it at the shortest part of the lever with one finger, and then I would have to roll my fingers on. Again, I think that can be changed if you put some adjustable levers on it, but that is something to keep in mind on it. Clutch feel, it's okay. It's a cable clutch. I think they did a fine job with it. It's not the lightest in the world, but again, I think that if we put adjustable levers on the clutch side, it might pull the lever in a little bit, and I might be able to get a little bit more grip on it. The other thing that is, it's probably only me, it probably doesn't affect anybody that is taller than me. The way that the engine side cover is here, the clutch actuator lever sticks out fairly far. So when I'm at a stoplight and stuff like that, it pokes into the side of my calf and stuff. Again, it's very minor. It's not a big deal at all. It's just something that I kept noticing. And yeah, I think if you're a little bit taller than me, your legs would be a little bit more bent, and I think you would be fine with it. Those are the only things that really jump out at me majorly. Rideability-wise, the engine is significantly better than the 535. It's not as buzzy, it's not as vibrating, it's got plenty of power. It's a little tinny sounding. Again, this is nitpicking, but it doesn't have that super solid rumble. It does have a little tinny to it. I'm just nitpicking again. The engine pulls, runs fine, starts right up, no problem. It starts up significantly better than my own personal daily bike. But yeah, that's about it for nitpickiness of this bike. Now, would I buy this bike? In a heartbeat, yes. 100% hands down, I would buy a version of this bike for myself. I think the price point is amazing. The warranty is great. The styling is awesome. What you get for the money on this bike is amazing, and I think you should really consider this bike if you're in the market for a modern, classic, touring type sport cafe bike. One of the other things that I really like about this bike is that right from the factory, it is just begging to be modified. I can name a few things right off the bat that just bolt-on wise would completely change the look of this bike. Get rid of this little fender flappy. Get rid of the reflectors. Some type of tail tidy. You know, you don't need much. It's already got a hoop on it, so it's great. You get rid of some of this rubbery stuff. Maybe some shorty turn signals. Maybe a smaller tail light. It's great. I would replace the exhaust. Look, we all know that the exhaust has nothing to do with the manufacturers. They put on what they have to be compliant, but it's begging for a smaller, shorter, nicer looking exhaust. Again, bolt-ons. Levers, spoke about that earlier. I might change the headlight to something a little bit smaller, but the headlight that's on it is perfectly fine. I would do a lot of blacking out. I like a blacked out bike, so you know, parts of the clamps that hold the headlight on and the turn signals here, I would definitely black those out. I would probably black out the clip-on risers and stuff like that. Maybe the fender support and stuff, you know. But this bike lends itself so amazingly well to being modified, which is part of the reason why I would jump on the opportunity to own one of these. Okay, so that's it. I'm jumping on the bike. I have to ride it down to Utrecht. It's about 40-minute ride down. I have to pick up my bike and then get back to the house so that I can download these videos and start editing. And I have to finish my work day. I've got some meetings this evening. So thanks for watching. I hope this gave you some insight and some information on the Royal Enfield Continental GT. Thank you, Royal Enfield, for lending it to me. I'm very, very grateful for the opportunity. And then, yeah, until next time, please consider subscribing and hitting that like button. We're really trying to grow the channel, and that stuff helps tremendously. Drop me a comment if you've got any questions, and until the next time, yeah, let's get to getting, and we'll see you soon.